I'm joined now by Congressman Daniel Goldman. Thanks so much for joining.
Thanks for having me, Brian. Good to be with you again.
So I want to put up on the screen right here the feud that you and Elon Musk have been engaged in online. You had written that it wasn't just a freeze on Elon Musk and Doge accessing Americans' personal data. He was ordered to destroy any data that they already took. Elon Musk confirmed that he's followed the court order. Elon responded, "We don't have any personal data of Americans, you corrupt moron." And you said, "Tell it to the judge under oath." Are you reassured that Elon, in fact, and his team of these teenagers at Doge, in fact, don't have Americans' personal data?
No, I have no assurance whatsoever. The fact that the administrator of the Social Security Administration has specifically because of Doge's desire to access the personal identification information of Americans actually cuts very much the other way, and that they do have access to it. And that's what's so crazy about all this, Brian, is not that I or Democrats support waste, fraud, and abuse. It's that we have no idea what Elon Musk and his band of teenagers are doing. But even more importantly, Donald Trump doesn't know. Senate Republicans don't know. House Republicans don't know. Nobody knows what he's doing. There is no form of accountability. There is no transparency, notwithstanding whatever he says. It seems as if he goes into an agency, uses some algorithm to find the names of programs that he doesn't like, and then cancels them. And there's no way he can determine that something is fraudulent in such a short amount of time. It's putting aside the requirement that he come back to Congress, because the law requires Congress to have the power of the purse, as does the Constitution.
Can you talk about what in the worst case scenario where somebody has access, unfettered access to all of Americans' sensitive data, what does that look like? Why should folks be worried about the fact that Elon and these teenagers do have access to all of this private data?
Well, there are a number of different concerns. First is that these are in highly compartmentalized and sensitive databases that have well-established cybersecurity and protections around them. And so those protections are against Chinese hackers, Russian hackers, Iranian hackers, or who knows who else. And if they are taking that information off of the official secure server and they're putting it on their own private server, and who knows what kind of protection those servers have, they are potentially exposing it to additional hackers. The other thing I worry about is, frankly, Elon Musk has a ton of business interest, including X, one of the largest social media digital platforms. He wants to, I guess, I hear that he wants to put some sort of payment plan in it. He can use all of this data for his own business purposes, to figure out who to target, where people are, learn about subscribers that he already has, learn a lot more information. And obviously, if your social security number gets out there, your home address gets out there, you're just a sitting duck for identity theft and fraud.
Well, we've been reassured by Trump over and over that if there are any conflicts of interest, he personally is going to intervene and make sure that Elon isn't going to be able to use Doge to kind of access certain types of data. And yet at the same time, we just found out that this weekend, hundreds of FAA employees were let go, while simultaneously we have SpaceX people coming in. And so we're seeing these conflicts of interest play out in real time where these federal employees are being gutted, and then we're seeing the ingredients for the privatization of these sectors happening in their place. And so does that worry you, the fact that Republicans are really making good on their longstanding plans to privatize a lot of the programs that otherwise the federal government had been doing prior to that?
Well, let's just take a one step back. The president actually said that if Elon Musk has any conflicts of interest, Elon Musk will determine that and will recuse himself from anywhere. So basically, Elon Musk and the Supreme Court are the only entities or individuals that have absolutely no accountability and oversight to any ethical lapses or conflicts.
Both of which are working out swimmingly thus far.
Exactly. So the other thing is that through some, I think, excellent reporting in the New York Times, we have already learned about conflicts of interest that Elon Musk has. According to the Times, there were 32 ongoing investigations or enforcement actions against Elon Musk's companies from 11 different federal agencies. Trump has fired all the inspectors general in those agencies. Elon is going through and gutting both the budget and the workforce in all of these. And the Times reports that all of those investigations and enforcement actions have stalled. That is an outrageous conflict of interest. And then when you layer on the fact that he has $13 billion in government contracts for his various companies, and he's the one making decisions about which government contracts are waste, fraud, and abuse, it is literally textbook conflict of interest. And so Elon Musk is a businessman. He is not a public servant. He does not care about the public. He does not care about working Americans. He does not care about ensuring that those who are disadvantaged get access to good education and good opportunity, and make sure that they have health care and that there are child care programs so that adults and parents can work. The list goes on and on. He does not care. And the fact that he has been put in charge of making these decisions without any accountability, without any oversight, is just terrible practice and really dangerous.
Congressman, I know this is kind of like a futile exercise, but if the roles were reversed and we had some Democratic billionaire with unfettered access to all of the systems in government, to Social Security numbers, to banking information, to the Treasury, to any American's private data, excuse the language, but Republicans would be losing their fucking minds. And so how does that asymmetry play out where you have none of these Republicans who seem to mind that all of these systems that even harbor their own information, secure their own information, are so neutralized by virtue of what we're seeing right now, and yet nobody on the right is speaking out. Nobody seems to mind an inch when just a few years ago, during the 2016 election cycle, we saw that Hillary using a private email server was apparently such a big issue that it's all they could talk about, front page news every single day for months and months and months. Security, national security was such an important issue. Security and private email servers were such an important issue. And yet now, when a bunch of high school grads and 20-somethings have access to all of this information, there is not a peep from anybody in the House Republican Conference or the House Senate Conference.
I've learned long ago that hypocrisy is the rule, not an exception with the Republicans. And you can imagine George Soros being in the position of Elon Musk, and Republicans' heads would explode. I think back more recently than 2016. I think back to last cycle, and you had an obsession from the House Republicans about President Biden's so-called conflicts of interest by earning money from foreign governments, which was completely debunked. They did not prove an inch. He got no money. Nothing was traced back to him. He had no relationships, no business dealings with anyone over there. Now you have Donald Trump meeting in the Oval Office with the leaders of two different professional golf leagues, one of which he's invested in to try to reach an agreement so that it can benefit his business. He is building all over the place. I mean, the financial conflicts of interest of Donald Trump alone, forget about Elon Musk, are outrageous, not a peep from the Republicans. But they do not care. Shame is not an emotion that Republicans feel. And we have to recognize that we're playing on a different playing field. And they will acknowledge they're hypocritical, but they don't care as long as they have the power and they're figuring out a way, legal or otherwise, to get done what they want. And that's why it's really important for us to recognize, yes, we are.